Good morning, everyone. My name is MightyStream, and I'm going to do your spiritual principle day in a meditation for July the 12th. If you need to reach me, feel free to do so at recoveryofhope21@gmail.com or leave a comment down below. And as soon as I see it, I promise you, I will respond to you. Thanks for all of the love you guys are showing me. The meditation for today is entitled Responsibility versus Control. Finding the line between personal responsibility and willful control is a challenge. Living Clean, Chapter 4, Letting Ourselves Go. After years of willfully trying to control our lives, our moods, and other people to get what we want, we arrive in the rooms of NA and are told we must surrender every day and turn our will over to a higher power. On top of that, an inventory shows us that being controlling is a character defect that has constantly placed our needs at the center of all of our relationships. We thought we needed that control. How else were we going to get the things done? The correct way, ours. So what are we supposed to do then? A newer member demanded to know. Just casually sit back and not handle things because we can't control the outcome or other people? I thought I'm supposed to be responsible now. There's a fine line between being responsible and grabbing control. Few situations are black and white, all or nothing. So discerning the position of that line may be a lifelong endeavor. Few life lessons in recovery are learned in one go, but that doesn't mean we don't get better at living them. It takes much effort to gain the wisdom to know the difference between the things we can and perhaps must change and the things we must accept. So then, how? The newcomer and everyone else wants to know. The how of it is pretty standard NA stuff, isn't it? We listen to others' experience and talk about our struggles, in this area. We seek suggestions and take them. Through step work, we reveal our self-centered tendencies and find strategies to address them. We say yes when asked to help, but we don't sacrifice our needs either. We own up to our mistakes and own up to our mistakes and own our assets too. Crucially, we start the lifelong process of assessing the difference between those two sparring voices in our heads. One is our disease that will tell us to avoid, deny, or control. And the other, which is connected to our higher power, is rooted in our values and our conscience. And yes, our responsibility to do the right thing and let go of the outcome. How can I explore this concept of personal responsibility versus willful control? What am I holding on to that I need to let go of? And what is something I'm avoiding that's my job to get done? That's a beautiful meditation. I want to take a moment of silence, followed by the we version of the Serenity Prayer, and then we can discuss it. God, grant us the serenity to accept the things that we cannot change, the courage to change the things that we can, and the wisdom to know the difference. So again, we're talking about responsibility versus control, the ability to have patience in a situation and be able to allow it to unfold in a natural way. It doesn't mean that we don't take action. We take action. We do the things that we know we're supposed to be doing. We don't try to force the outcome. We leave that to nature, right? And I can say nature. I can also say we leave it to God, but we want it to take a natural course, which is why I'm saying nature. We leave it to have the results that it's supposed to have. When I'm sharing, I would love for everyone to just, oh my goodness, that was such a beautiful share. But that doesn't happen. There's people that I can be in a meeting and I'm sharing, I'm the speaker, and they will absolutely get so fed up, just walk right out and never come back. And then there's other people that might fill the back of the room. And as soon as they see an empty seat, as soon as those people leave, they move right forward to take that seat and sit down. And they're one of the people in line when I'm done to give me a hug and say, man, I thought that was only my experience, but thank you for sharing. It must took a lot to be vulnerable like that. Share the truth like that. Wow, thank you. I don't feel alone anymore. I never thought I would actually hear my story, the exact same thing I went through as a child. Thank you, Mighty Stream. Huh. So I show up to do the share because I said that I would. I do the share, even though maybe I was stressed out, even trying to get to the place that I'm supposed to find to share. Maybe I don't know. I've had things happen to my vehicle just trying to get to the place that I'm trying to go. I've had to ask. One time I was supposed to share somewhere and I had a newcomer with me and my car broke down. And the newcomer had a cast on her leg. And I broke down and pulled over on the side of the highway with my flashers on, and a state trooper pulls up, and he and I are having a conversation. We're having a conversation. Like, I walk up to him, so I'm sure that was dangerous. And he didn't walk back to me. I walked up to him because he's pulled over in front of me. I walk up to him and we're having this conversation. And I told him I'm supposed to be somewhere in less than 30 minutes. I don't have a way to contact the people to let them know I'm not going to be able to make it. I'm supposed to be sharing for a Narcotics Anonymous meeting. So now you can imagine where this is headed with him. And I'm crying. And I tell him I have a lady in a casket with me. Can you imagine how stupid I sounded at that moment? I walk up to a state trooper's vehicle on the side of the road. He's pulled up in front of me. I tell him I'm supposed to be at a Narcotics Anonymous meeting as the speaker, the head pin girl, right? I'm supposed to be speaking, and I have a lady in a casket with me. Do you know he immediately did a search? He immediately had to have a look. He said, a casket? I said, I'm sorry, I mean a cask. And he was like, a cask? Yes, her leg is broke. He's like, okay, let me come back there for a second. He walks back with me to my vehicle. Just, I'm just friendly. I don't have any evil intent. He's reading me well. He looks through the vehicle really quick and he's like, and where are you trying to go? And I told him the address. Do you know? We called a tow and he got me to the event. And even though I was late, I had made it at the end of the reading. And I was right in the nick of time to share. So don't think that just because I know what I need to do and I'm doing the right thing for the right reasons, that there might not be some trouble along the way. I made it and I did the things that I was supposed to do, but there was trouble along the way. I started out on a journey And it took its course. It didn't take the course that I thought it would take, but it proved to that newcomer that being honest about what you're dealing with the authorities is a lot of times in your best interest, and they can be very helpful if you allow them. She said she never thought in a million years that she wouldn't have to show and prove who she was. She didn't have any warrants or anything, but she expected the worst. And me running my mouth was not helpful. So what's the point? Those people waiting on me for my share, they had a lot of gratitude when I shared how I got. And I didn't have just one or two or three people offering to take me back to my hometown, which was over an hour away. I had almost six people. Six. I had six people, four men and two women, offered to drive us back to our hometown after the meeting. Guess who I took the ride from? Some guy dressed all in a business suit, real personable. He worked for a company called, I can't give you the name of the company. He worked for a auto dealer. I was primed for the picking. A piece of trash. Broke down on the side of the road, and a car dealer gives me a ride back home. Do you know that car dealer sold me my next vehicle? And that vehicle was beautiful. Can you imagine? Can you imagine doing the right thing for the right reasons, trusting the outcome, even though I'm in the middle of it, the flick of it, not spouting off at the mouth, being honest, and it ended up beautifully. Not just that night being taken home, but the message was just right for everyone. Well, it seemed like it, right? At least a few people came up and got in line and hugged me. And I ended up getting a ride home from someone that had a connection. And I was able to get a vehicle that could stand the test of time. And it also happened to be my first actual car loan. That's amazing to me. So today I want you to think on responsibility versus control. I want you to take that long story that I just shared with you. And when you're faced with those two voices sparring in your head, go with the voice that pursues recovery, that pursues peace, that leads you down the path that is about well-being, not that negative voice. But leave the end results to nature. Let them unfold. Because if you're doing something and then you have to manipulate the outcome, you probably should not have been doing. You probably didn't hear correctly in your 11th step, right? Because if you had heard correctly, you would have a peace about letting it go, the end results, because you've done what you were supposed to do. My name is Mighty Stream. I've enjoyed talking to you today. I hope that you will have a beautiful day on purpose.